I think that when people think of foster care, though, if they do think about it, they think about a lot of negativity. They think about sex trafficking that really gets broadcasted a lot over the media. They think about homelessness. They think about unemployment. They think about prostitution. They think about jail and crime. But I want to change things. When people think of foster care, they see the positive, bright people who have to have an optimistic vision of foster care to come, to keep going. We believe that foster care as we know it can be a completely different system, or the thousands of faces that I've looked into their eyes and heard their story, and to me they've screamed, help me. Or really what they're asking for is, give my children a better life than I've had. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but please. That's really what I hear. There's a lot of people that were born into foster care, and then they get pregnant in foster care, and their kids immediately get taken away, and then their children are in the system, and they don't get to see their babies, and they don't believe that that's right. They want to be with their babies, but it's just not right the way. It's just generations of foster care. It's sad. But I see the most traumatized faces. It's really the person, that girl who is completely faded out, that just goes, like that you can just tell she's not present with us, and I understand that trauma. Or that kid who's testing all the boundaries and feeling out of control. They can't control their body, they can't control what they do because of trauma. I understand trauma very intimately. I've experienced it. I understand these emotions and these behaviors, where they come from. And I want to help these kids, and I want to help myself. I really do believe the world change starts with yourself. So I still have trauma. I teach myself to overcome on a regular basis. But I know that if I want to heal anybody else, first I have to start with my own internal dialogue, that I am not a victim, and I'm not just a survivor, but I am healed, and I am not completely healed yet, just talking straight with you, but it's a journey. Everything is a journey. So as I'm talking now, I continue the conversations with other people. I also continue the inner work on myself, the inner confidence work, the inner career training skills work. But it's these kids that encourage me to develop the skills that it takes to make a difference. It started very young for me, caring about those in foster care, because my sister was being abused when I was 6 years old, and we shared a room. I got to see her perspective, and I cared very much for her. I loved her very much, and so when she went into foster care, I already knew what foster care was. That introduced me to a lot of court hearings. And then next, when I was in school, I happened to find a very best friend that was in foster care. I didn't know it when I became friends with her, but she could be a really bright, perky person, but she could also just be faded out, and it's just like, what's wrong? I couldn't really get her to talk about it, but she was staying at a friend's house. I didn't know that. I thought they were sisters. They called themselves sisters. So when I go to her house, it was her sister that told me she got sexually abused from her family. They're taking her in temporarily. She doesn't know where she's going to be permanently, and oh my goodness, I just wanted to give her a hug. I had no idea what all she was going through. But I think just because my sister went through such a traumatic ordeal, you can just attract these people. Next, my family moved from Pennsylvania to Chicago, and my sister did not come with us. She stayed in foster care. And so I really immersed myself in academics. Academics were my world. So I was a straight A student. I skipped a grade. I copied and recopied my homework over and over again. It really just put my head down to the books. It wasn't a great neighborhood in Chicago. In fact, Gangster's Paradise, just like the song came out, and they'd be writing graffiti, on the school, and I just kept myself out of trouble. I was just always in front of books. It was okay if I had no friends. I just was trying to dream up big that, I'm going to be going into Harvard. I'm going to make a better life for myself. I'm going to be out of poverty, and I'm going to have a good job one day. When I first started Fundamentals for Foster Care, it came from giving foster kids educational toys. I did CASA, and I saw the great benefits to giving these children toys. I remember when I was going through CASA training, I asked them if it was a problem to give them gifts, because I had done other volunteer information, and it's always the volunteer training 101 that they teach you. Do not give material things. Do not give them money, because it's just boundaries. You are volunteering your time. If you want to donate to the nonprofit, that's separate. But trust me, they'll just ask you for more and more money. So you are not to give any gifts or money, or really even accept gifts from them. Sometimes you'll get the opposite. If people are so appreciative of you around that they want to give you everything that they've got. So I learned those boundaries from other volunteer opportunities, but I remember in CASA training that I just wanted to give kids in foster care a better life. I wanted to treat them like I would my own kids, where you don't want to necessarily give them too many toys, but educational toys. Because play is children's work, and you want to make it fun, and you want to make sure that they're lowering their stress, because that's how children learn best. We know that children learn best through play. So I use my early child education to really want to shower kids in foster care with these gifts that I got to know them, and they were often sad and going through a lot and confused about whether they feel safe and happy, because it wasn't their dream home where they were staying. And you could do all the family tree searches for them, but there isn't often enough places that really care about these kids and really want them there and really will treat them like if they were their own kids. And that's the kind of life I really wanted for foster kids. Yes, STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Mathematics. I was researching what type of toy or gift I could give to a kid that could be life-changing. And yes, I'm a very optimistic, rose-colored, kind of person, but like it or not, I did research. Again, I've always been a bookworm, so I go to the library at least once a week and I speed read stacks of books. People get really upset, like, you're not going to read all of these, and I'm more of a skimmer, but I go through like this. But so I was studying research of what has been found to help vulnerable kids, why some are resilient and succeed and others are not. I just was reading and reading, and I kept coming across STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM has been well researched, especially in the UK, parts of Europe. I believe Australia is pretty extensive too. But STEM, when I researched STEM in America, STEM has been like the new fad kind of toy that the rich people give their kids, but especially for vulnerable girls is how STEM has become famous in America. That it really stemmed from wanting to get girls more into computer programming and jobs that pay better to help bridge the income gap between males and females. Speaking of resiliency, I couldn't wait to get to know Jamerica Haynes. She is a resilient, fearless social ambassador that stands up for foster kids and foster care alumni. So I couldn't wait to get to know her and ask how she became this resilient leader that she is today.
Hi, I'm Jamerica Haynes Lewis, your USA Ambassador Ms. 2021. At the age of 5, I went into foster care. For the next 13 years of my childhood, I would remain in the system. This experience left a profound impact on me. So much, it led to me becoming an advocate for children and families who found themselves in the system. As a sophomore in college, I had the opportunity to be in pageantry. It was not only a way for me to earn scholarships for college, but also a way to develop my platform, a chance to succeed empowering youth in foster care. It is through that platform I was able to share my story, volunteer in my community, and let congressmen and women know what can be done to help children and families in our communities. I believe this is important for people to know. You are not your circumstances. With the right support and resources, you can go on to live a happy and fulfilled life.
She understands, she's been through it, and she is using her voice for good. I met with John Harold today in person. I was just giving people an example of one of many interviews I might have, the kinds of questions I ask, and the kinds of people that my cause attracts. That wonderful people reach out to me, or we connect somehow, and they want to be a part of this. They want to know how they can use their life mission to help others.
So I met Cheryl over social media. I don't even remember exactly how, but I don't need to know, but I followed her for several years now, and we have a connection because we both have a heart for kids and want to see struggling kids thrive and realize that they have value and they have purpose and they have meaning to their lives. They're not just here by accident. The name of my podcast is the Determined People Podcast, and the stories are stories of encouragement, strength, and hope. We deliver that to a world that's in desperate need of those things. Kindness and compassion, the world needs those desperately as well. So every day, I podcast differently. Every day I post a 1-minute inspirational thought, just something to make you think. It could be something as simple as be kind to everyone because we don't know what's going on inside. Be kind to people, even those who don't deserve our kindness. And the world needs more kindness. But and then every 2 weeks I post interviews. Now I'm doing them on video. When I did our interview, Cheryl, we were on just audio, but I'm doing them on my YouTube channel, The Determined People Podcast. So how do I mentor is not necessarily what people also oftentimes think of, which is one-on-one. I've done some of that, but what I am privileged to do because of my background, which I did detail in my book, Killing My Father, Then Finding Him. By the way, I didn't kill anybody. It sounds like I killed my dad and then helped the police solve a cold case. It's not that, it's a metaphor. But because I grew up in an abusive, fear-filled, cruel, sometimes demented home, and I grew up feeling worthless. Both my parents said, I'm not worth a damn, I will never amount to anything. And that, as a kid, you don't want to believe that, but because I've been able to get through this, through the power of forgiveness, then it's allowed me the privilege to speak to kids in detention centers and kids in foster homes. So how do you qualify people who might be solid mentors, right? I think that you have to have one-on-one conversations with them in person, because you kind of get a feel for what people's body language is, number one. Number two, see if they are consistent. And three, you can tell by the questions they ask you about the commitment, do they have an agenda for this? Are they really here to serve? Leaders have a servant's heart. They don't care who gets the credit as long as it's the right thing. Most people, you have to go through a lot of people to find the right people. Most people have an agenda for their interactions with you, what they want from you. Most people have an agenda for me, but you can figure it out, but you have to have your own agenda for what you want to do in your life, what that higher purpose is. But I think it's interviewing people and just having conversations with them over coffee or something, visiting with them, getting to know them as not just what they do, but who they are. Because what we do is not who we are. Who we are is a deeper level of the heart. But I think that you just keep putting the message out there, and the right people will eventually, it's like a giant funnel. You drop everyone into a funnel, the right people will eventually come out at the bottom. So I don't know that answers the question very well, but I think that you got to go through a lot of people. It's not going to be, if you're looking for 10 people, it's not going to be the first 10 people that you meet. It may take 200 of them. It may take 1,000 to get 1% at 10 people. But you just got to keep doing it and don't give up. And you'll find all the right people to make that happen. And guess what? Those people hang around with people that are hardwired similarly at the heart level. So then it just kind of grows exponentially. You just got to keep finding them and don't give up.
You can check us out on our website, fundfc.org. My email is cheryl@fundfc.org, so CHERYL @fundfc.org. And we're looking for mentors currently. I want people to have people that are positive, that really want to breathe words of life into these kids, that have an optimistic vision looking forward of where our first foster youth are going to be. When we think of foster care alumni, I want to see people that are the doers, the changers, that of course they're going to go on to be a CEO, of course they're going to go on to accomplish their dreams, because these are the people that can use their experiences to have a powerful story that can really impact a lot of lives for the better. They have real life lived experiences going through it. There are so many stories of foster care alumni that they add in, that positivity, that inspiration that wasn't in the world when they were born, but they're doing it. My story is just one of many. I hope my story inspires somebody, but I also want people to meet the stories that inspire me. Many already have and are going on to, like John Harrell, he came from an abuse background, but he is a solid person. He believes in himself. He knows the good he's doing in this world. And I love to just hear his ideas. He's always given me great feedback about, like I asked him about the STEAM mentorship program, because that's where we currently are on our journey. We're looking for STEAM mentors. So if that's you, if you're a person that has good to add into the world, you know where you are as far as what your life purpose is, and you think it aligns with helping kids in foster care believe in themselves, their self-confidence, finding their self-esteem, you have some kind of life purpose that helps with that. Like I know a lady that also understands, and she wants foster kids for free to have the life coaching series that really helped her become this life coach, because life coaching has a lot of wisdom for them and that will help them with life skills. So lots of wonderful ideas out there. I have lots of friends who are pretty much strangers that just reach out to me because they care about foster kids. Those are my people. If you love foster kids, you are my people. Reach out to me, Cheryl@fundfc.org, and we should have the STEAM mentorship referral contact pretty soon. We need a lot of mentors because there are around 500,000 kids who get circulated through the foster care system every year, and we can't do that, mentor them all with 3 volunteers. We need people that will show up every single week, 20 minutes of your time, like a big brothers, big sisters kind of self-esteem system, to mentor these kids to success, that you've gotten there yourself, you've overcome struggles, you know what it was like to not have dependable caregivers around. You can lead them to the way of success. No more poor outcomes. We're not going to have low expectations. We're not going to expect broken relationships from foster care alumni. We are expecting the highest success, because these are the chosen, called people to make the biggest impact in the world, and we're doing it. So let's change the social stigma to something that is really positive. You're a foster care alumni. Let me give you a hug. You are family to me. What kind of good are you doing? Because I know you're doing good in this world. Nobody can go through that and be the person that you are right here without being an amazing person. So thank you for sticking through it. The world needs you. I appreciate you. I love you. Help us love the kids currently going through the system, and for future generations, let's make this world a much more positive and loving place and safer than the place we were born into.